And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster and I'm touching base with you as I always do every day. I'm a little late. Forgive me for my little tardiness. I was just hanging out with my house guests and and forgot all about. I was like, oh wait a minute, I gotta get on. I gotta go online. What's going on, everyone? What an amazing weekend it has been. Man, if you're looking at politics, it's been an incredible weekend. I'm so excited because I got a chance to vote this Saturday, and that was amazing. But we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about Michelle Obama and how. Oh man, what a case she presented this weekend. Hopefully, you guys did not miss that. And then you had the wonderful Friday night, Beyonce and Kelly. So and Mama Beyonce was out there, and so if you were looking at politics this weekend, it was a star spangled banner weekend of politics, and so much happened this weekend. So much happened. Also, we'll talk about the horrible language last night at the Trump rally in regards to the Puerto Ricans. You're like, hello, Puerto Ricans are Americans. Do they not know that? Do they not know that Puerto Ricans are Americans? That there are Puerto Ricans in all of these states that they need? Well, yeah, they're just horrible. Anyway, let's say good morning to some folks. Let's say good morning. First person in the building is Hannah. Hannah Miller is in the building. She says, good morning, Ron and Touch Base Daily family. How are you doing? And we have the wonderful Aya. She is in the building. Grand Rising, Ron and everyone, RLP. Please vote early. Yes, right. And third place, but not least, in the bronze. She's getting the bronze this morning. It is Chris R. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And we have wonderful Amparo in the building with her Grand Rising. It's interesting. I'm beginning to see a lot of that Grand Rising. Grand Rising. My brother says Grand Rising. You say, Amparo says Grand Rising. And Aya says Grand Rising. It's a Grand Rising. What's going on, Jazzy Jazz? Jazzy's in the building. Good morning, beautiful people, she says. And we have the great Elise. Elise is in the building. She says, good morning, everyone. And who else is in the building? Kelly A is in the building. She says, good morning, everyone. And we also have here Mr. Bryson. It was his birthday weekend. I hope he had an amazing birthday weekend. Anyway, let me grab my mushroom coffee. Well, I still need to cool off. It's hot, hot, hot. So I'll wait to get that, but I had to move it over to this side of my table. Hey, Jamel Shabazz is back. What's going on, Jamel? Jamel Shabazz is back. He says, greetings, family. So good to see you back, my brother. And I see here, Bryson says, yeah, I did. Good morning. So, guys, what an amazing weekend politically. Hey, Janet's in the building. What's going on, Janet? She says, barely awake, but good morning, everyone. Janet, it's always good to have you here. Always here. We missed you Saturday. We missed you at our photographers meetup. And can I say something about our photographers meetup this weekend before we go into the details of things today? We met together. You know, for those that don't know, I have a meetup group that meets every fourth Saturday at 2:00 in a different location in New York City. And it's bringing together photographers of different skill sets and to connect them with one another. So that means people that are experienced are connecting with people that are just learning or growing or just hobbyists. And we get together in a different location and we photograph that area. So this weekend, we photographed Central Park, the South Side, and we started at Columbus Circle. From Columbus Circle, we walked down to where the plaza is, to the other end, and down to the garden. Great day. We had a great time together. Wonderful turnout. I forgot to do our group photo. Shame on me. but we had a great time. But something we noticed as soon as we started our photography day, and we saw this huge Trump bus. Yes, I did photograph it, but I'll show it on my stream. But it was huge, and then they had this truck, and they were selling merch, and they had this black guy who was selling the merch. I was like, in my head, I was like, dude, you know you are not a Trump supporter. But then he could have been. He could have been. He was doing selfies with the people that were buying the Trump paraphernalia merch. And I was like, this is got to be crazy. This is crazy. Obviously, it's right in front of what we call Trump International Hotel, right there on the corner of the Columbus Circle. And man, it was crazy. But most of the people were walking by the bus and giving the bus the finger. So I did photograph that too. And it was interesting to see that, but it was crazy. Then you had, I'm not sure if they were connected to the Trump bus. I have no idea, but they were out there preaching with the, you must be born again and Jesus is coming, Jesus saves. And they were screaming at the folks and yelling and yeah, it was, we got a lot of good photos in. We got a lot of good photos in of New York City. And it was really cool, but it was a great day out. The weather here in New York, we are now going on 30 straight days without rain in New York City. Not good, because we are now in a drought in New York City, and that is not good. However, let me bring on, before we so we're going to dive in. I see that Lee's and Brian in the building, and I cannot have any of these conversations without them. Also, this is Motivation Monday, so we will have our motivation quote at the end, which is going to inspire photographers and our creatives. So we'll have that at the end. That's definitely for today. And so today's Motivation Monday. Remember that we are motivating one another. And today we're motivating to vote. We're motivating to do a lot of stuff. So this also Saturday, I had the great opportunity to also get my vote on. And I thought I was going to be the first person in the building. Hell no. My neighbors showed up. They showed up. My neighbors were there, and they were there in numbers. I had to wait. Anyway, let's bring Elise on. I see Elise in the background. I see her in the back room. Good morning, Elise.
Good morning.
I see Mr. B in the background. Well, good morning, Brian.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Man,
Good morning.
what a weekend. I tell you.
Let me get my stuff.
My weekend began obviously on Friday. After I left you guys, I started doing some work on some projects for some clients. And then I settled my evening into Kamala Harris rally with Beyonce introducing and Kelly. And they were really good. So anyway, did you guys see any of it?
Wow. Yeah, I did. I saw some of it.
And
everything comes on live on Instagram.
Just right now, you can just go straight to Instagram. You don't need cable. You just go to Instagram, and you will find one of your people you follow that will be airing it live.
Yes.
Prayerfully, they don't start charging.
If they start charging, I'll just leave.
Yeah. Well, look, no, there's so many people that do it on their feed, so that you can't charge for that. Right. But yeah, it was really, 30,000 people. Sorry, 30,000 plus.
Right.
Showed up for that Houston rally. That is, I just don't understand how Kamala and Trump could be tied.
You have a lot of people that's not voting. You have people that voting for all kinds of craziness. So Yeah.
30,000 come out though. 30, not.
But now
I
they
mean,
got to vote.
20,000.
They got to vote in Texas. They got to vote.
I feel like, so I keep telling myself I won't say I'm done knocking on doors. I keep telling myself that I'm throttling back when it comes to the weekends, when it comes like Friday, and then I've got the direct cell number of the campaign.
Really?
People, because I've been
Because you're out there. You out there
and-
every week.
And she's like, Brian, and she's like, I don't give this to everybody, but here I've got her and her second in command. That's how much I've been out. So usually Friday, I'm like, nah, I got to rest my feet and blah blah blah, and then something lights a fire, and I'm like, all right, I tell you what, girl, I'll do it. I'll do an hour, and next thing you know, I'm out there. Like yesterday morning, then for a little bit I stopped, watched the Lions, got back out there, and then forgot about CQ last night yesterday evening. So I was listening while
there was a CQ event last night. Wasn't it? There was a lot going on last night. I missed the Obama event last night because I was entertaining my house guests. But Brian, did you tune in, or did you get a chance to tune into the Obama?
Win with Black Men.
How was it? How was it?
I was on the call and I was posting clips. Before I quickly, I'll just encourage, and this is no scientific thing, and I know vibes don't win elections, but I'm finding like when I first started door knocking, it was maybe one in a blue moon that I'd have. So far, it's predominantly been white women that have ushered me away or tried to be like, shh, I'm voting for her. But
my husband is in the building.
The last, and I kid you not, the last 12 houses in a row yesterday, each and every, and they were all women, all white women, and I kid you not, each and every one in some way, shape, or form was like, shh, I'm voting for her, but he, the husband or whatever, is voting for the orange one. So I'm praying that multiply that times other pockets around the country.
Yeah.
So that, and then the call last night for Win with Black Men. I guess I don't post a lot of those. I've not, sometimes I feel like, in my opinion, if you're doing the work, sometimes you ain't got time to post.
This is true. Very much true. You're busy.
But the last couple of Win with Black Men calls have been been kind of cringy. Some kind of like,
because not a lot of people been there. I know. I was at the last one. I was like, "Well, where's everybody? Where is everybody?"
But Roland Martin, I swear, Roland Martin, he's like that unk that everybody respects. And when he comes in the room, it's like, look, we're going to get this going. Everybody sits up a little straighter. And then when former President Obama got on, man, and him just being him.
Yeah.
And some of the things that he shared about, like, look, if you don't like the environment, and you still have to participate. And I'm glad he called. And unfortunately, for those that were not on the call, you're just getting my Cliff Note version. But one of the things that I felt that was impactful, he had a quick little Q&A with Roland Martin, but he hit upon this notion that, listen, guys, just because you elect a president, he said, this was in my presidency, just because you elect the first, woman of Black descent and Indian descent, doesn't magically mean everything is going to be all roses. He said that was a false narrative. He was like,
everything's coming against you.
Yeah, but we have to, and he hit them up, but we have to deliver her. What do we always say in here? A house,
and a Senate.
So yeah, and lastly, and I'll mute before I hear McQueen start to bark. What I felt was really impactful outside of President Obama and the timing. This is where I feel like she's gonna win. We got to do our part. She's gonna win. But some things are, for me, too serendipitous. Hill Harper, who ran for Senate here, former actor. He's an adoptive Detroiter like myself, if I'm not mistaken.
Highly educated.
But he says something. He's still out in the streets talking to brothers, young brothers, trying to get them. What's your hangups or what? Okay, great. I've persuaded you. I've given you facts. So you're gonna vote. Let's walk you through to get you to early vote. He says something that I think was overshadowed by last night's lineup. One young brother, he said just yesterday morning, was like, "Hey Hill, where do I write in her name? I don't." And he was like, "Wait, what?" This young cat had never voted, so he's in a ballot. He doesn't know, and that just kind of like we're encouraging people to vote.
But yeah,
and what percentage, more broadly than Black men, but what percentage of people, regardless of ethnicity, what percentage of people have never voted? So they don't know what a ballot looks like. They may not know. You don't have to physically write her name in there. They may not know. Look on the other side. You can, when we say vote blue up and down the ballot, this cat literally thought, do I have to bring a blue marker, a blue pen, a blue?
Wow.
That just
so. See, no one thought of that.
So, why I said just serendipitous. I had my family Zoom call on Saturday. We've usually been doing them on Sunday, but Sunday wasn't going to work, so we had a short one Saturday. Well, short. It was 3 hours, but I digress. But one of the younger relatives said the same thing.
Wow.
And so his dad, which is a distant cousin, was like, "Oh my God!" And he was like, "Son, I failed you." And we're sitting here watching this in real time on the Zoom, and he's like, "I've never taken you with me voting." And he's like, "No, Dad, you and Mom have always just said, yeah, we got to vote, but not." And so, like within my family structure, I had this was like a cousin of a cousin, so not directly related to me, but he's having this interaction in real time about this is what a ballot looks like. So I just share like, listen, when we're encouraging people to vote and know the issues, when I say walk people through, it's not just about getting them to the polls. Like show these young people this is what a ballot is. This is what you're supposed to do. That's just profound to me. And
wow. Well, I tell you, it was an amazing weekend. I thought it was really incredible, as in, like I said, seeing those 30,000 people coming out for Kamala in Houston. But what was most profound this weekend was Michelle Obama.
Yes.
Right.
Michelle, you know, when Obama says that, when Barack says Michelle is it, she's the man. Michelle painted a masterpiece of information and foresight of what we are up against, what women are up against, what women go through, what this election means, how many people are going to be impacted by this election. She broke it down and compartmentalized it, but yet brought it all together. They were all like these pieces of puzzles locked into each other. Yeah. Yet she explained each piece of the puzzle. It was Michelle Obama left. I mean, there were a couple of moments, even with when Kamala was talking, and even when Beyonce was speaking, in Houston, I was like, this is absolutely incredible. I mean, I was in tears, almost in, how you have those choking moments when you hear something really powerful. But Michelle I was like, where's my community? We should be watching this all together. I mean, it was just like, oh my God, we should all be here together, because it was so good. Elise, as a woman, and I know you saw it, what was your biggest takeaway from Michelle's speech, and what did it mean to you?
Well, you know, it made, you know, when I went on live the other night, because I've been thinking about this, I said, one of the things we don't do is paint the broad picture.
Yes.
Of what we're talking about when we're talking about how women are impacted. Because we've let people force us to narrowly focus only on the child, the fetus, right? We don't talk enough about everything around that, you know, the women's health, period. We don't talk enough, and we don't make people understand what that looks like. We don't make them understand how, and in my conversation, I said, this is what I said. I said, we don't think about the women, and young women in particular, who may want to support the other side. They don't think about the fact that if they have not had a child yet, if they have not ever been pregnant yet.
Yes.
Every pregnancy is different. Something could go wrong at any point in time. Even if you're a mother of 3, that of 2, and you have a third, that third one could take your life.
Yes.
And we don't think about the fact that this is about healthcare.
Yes.
And not just about the thing they want you to focus on. And I think that she made a very good point, especially speaking directly to men. I was saying,
she said, and for men that love us.
Yes, for men who love us. And even speaking to the women who are out there, I think she did a masterful job painting a picture for the men of what women could possibly go through.
Yes.
In the process, and their healthcare being totally, them not having healthcare in place. The fact that you could end up with deserts where women can't get gynecological care because the number of people in med school are rethinking going into gynecology.
Yes.
Because of the possible impact on their careers. How the landscape would change, right?
She said, and also how the landscape is changing.
Yeah,
because there's some places right now that are lacking gynecologists. They are lacking institutions to help them. They don't have the facilities. Facilities are closing throughout the South, all those southern states. Doctors are packing their bags and moving out because they don't want to go to jail.
Right. And my daughter was saying the other day when we were talking, she lives in Austin. She said there's a Planned Parenthood place near her. She said, I never see any cars in the parking lot. And I said, that's because most people don't understand Planned Parenthood is not just about abortion.
That's right.
It's about women's healthcare. They do mammograms. They do all these things. Yes. And so when you think and look at states like Texas, where you already have women who have to leave the state or almost die to get healthcare.
Planned Parenthood also gives men's health.
Yes,
absolutely.
I learned that in college when like my girlfriend at the time said, I can't remember what it was that I needed. And we went to Planned Parenthood. I'm like, and that I didn't know that. But ever since then, I'm like, it's not just
1/3 of their mission. I think is 1/3 of their mission is men's health.
Right. Yeah. And I think one of the things she mentioned, and stuff get jumbled up because I heard so much over the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe she mentioned the fact that they may not even be able to receive things through the mail.
Yes, because
that's the next up the Comstock Act.
That's the next.
We haven't talked much about.
Yeah,
the Comstock Act is into Project 2025, and I think that to keep going back and making sure everyone mentions that Project 2025 is already being tested in these states. And that Comstock Act is a part of that. And that was like, I think she mentioned the part about the mail.
So yes, she did. She did. And talking about you won't be able to get be able to get your
birth control.
If you need certain medications through the mail to help you, either through anything with healthcare for women will be not able to go through the mail because of these new laws.
Right.
That will be instituted.
And I think she did a great job of bringing all of it together.
Woo, she did. I mean,
speaking to people in a way of, she said, I don't mean to be this way, but you know, these are the realities. And I think that some people needed that slap in the face of, this is the reality.
When she painted the picture of the father, the
Yes.
husband, the boyfriend, she goes, and when things go at its worst, you will be the one standing with the flowers.
Absolutely. That end part really was that.
I
That
was
end part was like, I wasn't expecting the flowers, that you'd be standing there with flowers.
You know, she said, I mean, it was so impactful that, you know, I'm that guy that analyzes speeches, because I have my preamble here in the background, all the speeches of all the presidents and all the famous people in politics. So I have the book there. Man, what Michelle Obama did is, for those that are also like into law stuff, into like the lawyer, she took it apart and made it her closing argument.
Right. And we can't forget
if
she's a
this was
lawyer.
a case, if she used her lawyer skills.
Yes.
If you have not seen this speech, y'all,
right,
you have to.
Watch.
It's online. You can see the whole thing in its entirety. I think on PBS, and I think it's a couple of other places, but I know PBS has it.
So, Rod, you know what it reminded me of when she did the end part about the flowers?
Yes.
Have you ever watched the movie A Time to Kill?
Yes.
With Samuel Jackson?
Yes.
When he asked him to close his eyes, and the last thing was, imagine it's a white girl. Imagine that the girl is white. That's what the flower thing was to me. But you were going to be standing there with the flowers.
You are going to be standing with the flower. And then she said, you are the one that's going to be raising those children alone.
Right.
Man, if you did not feel those words, you are dead as a doorknob. I mean, those words were so impactful and so full of color. She painted the picture like no one else could. I literally was working on some projects. You know, I do my editing and all that stuff while things are happening. I stopped. I could not work while she was speaking. It was so impactful, her words.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, she was talking about women. She goes, men, you need to know that women will never tell you what we're going through. Like she said that, you know, quote unquote, that our bodies are complicated. There's all kinds of things going on that we never talk to you about. We don't share most of the stuff that our bodies are going through. We were never taught to do that. So you may think we are doing fine, but we are in pain.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, like I said, it was. Yeah, you could tell. I don't even have any cliff notes. I'm just going from my memory.
That's the beauty of it, though. That's the beauty of it. Like we don't as women and as a woman. There are things that my husband may or may not have known. You know, that I share my story about using birth control pills as a teenager, not because I was active, but because it was medical treatment, so that other women know that sometimes there are things that you may need that have nothing to do with preventing pregnancy, but sustaining your life. For me, that was a thing that made sure that I was able to later in life to have the 3 children and the granddaughter that I have, because without that doctor saying, hey, this is what needs to happen for you, or me having access to that.
Yes.
Imagine me not having access to that. I probably wouldn't have ended up having children, because I probably would have had a hysterectomy at an early age. You know, here I am 16 years old with no possibility of having children. And so those are the things that I think, you know, she did so great at, and just bringing it to your wife, your sister, your daughter, your granddaughter. We have got to think
your niece,
and it's too late after the fact to say, oh, I should have.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that, well, one of many with Forever Flotus, what makes her, I dare say, and I will stand on it, what makes her a better orator than Barack is that she has consistently shown that she has zero interest in any office.
Politics.
Yeah,
That
Right.
gives her
she says, I don't even want to be here. I don't
that
like politics. Y'all brought me out of here. I don't want. She said, this is not my thing.
that gives her that to me that makes her more
Credibility.
powerful.
Right.
Yes.
That shows her power. She's got
Yeah.
strength in reserve. It's like how can I put it? It's like Superman. He could crush a human if he wants to, but he doesn't. I don't know. That's the way I could see it. But to the fact that how she used the paintbrush of vocabulary and the paintbrush of public speaking to deliver words that imprinted a vision, and hopefully those listening, that's the difference. Those that
Well, this is what David says. David says this.
yeah,
He says, is it just me, or do words matter if the other
Okay.
side doesn't listen?
Yeah.
And that's the key here, is that the other side just doesn't listen.
I think the thing though is the other side is in the room though.
They're in the room.
But you don't, and so we can't assume that no one on the other side that's in the room will change or
That's right.
finally get it. Sometimes they get it when they hear something that, because one thing I learned as a public speaker, right? Because
Yeah.
I've testified before the House and the Senate before. The one thing I've learned is I had to, and this happened because I work with PTA, I learned that I had to make people feel that it was about them.
Yes.
And that group of people, white people, especially white people, I'm telling you now, you have to talk directly to them and talk about how it impacts them. They have to relate to it. I can't just tell you my story.
Yes.
I have to tell you your truth. And that was the way that's the way you're able to break through people, is if you keep it on them. And I think that's what she used that masterfully on men.
Woo!
Keep it on men.
If you do that because I exercise that exact same thing this weekend. When you focus, I go back to what Bill Clinton said at DNC. Don't count the eyes, count the lies. So he's focused on himself.
He said, don't count the lies, count the eyes.
What did I say? Don't count the eyes, count the
he said, don't count the lies, count the eyes.
Yeah.
Pammy
when
says,
you lead, when you put the other person first intentionally and do all the other things, if you're able to, like, I feel like I'm getting better at this because it takes into account all the public speaking training I've gone through, like to deliver my TED talk, to lead teams, and to be in design leadership. All this comes to bear. And if you are a parent, or if you are overseeing a child, maybe you're not a parent of biological, but all those skill sets come into play. I feel like when you're good in one, it makes you better in the other.
Yes.
And when I was out there doing exactly what Elise said, like, okay, what's going on with you? Like, what's big on your personal agenda? Healthcare. This one woman lost her mother. She said a week ago. 1 week ago, elder, breast cancer. They caught it late because of lack of proper health care insurance. Her mother was reluctant, whatever. She said that's why she's voting for Kamala. So I dug deeper. And then I feel like when you lead, like Michelle did, with the other person first, that opens it up for later on. Then you can put your personal, because they're more apt to listen, especially if you could connect. So,
well, it was definitely one of the most, and like I said, I love speeches. This was one of the best speeches I've heard in my lifetime. I know that sounds extreme, but I don't say that too often about speeches. And I, like I said, I listen to a lot of them. I'm usually drawn to speeches and addresses that are done during the 1800s because they're so colorful. And when you look at speeches of the 1800s or letters of the 1800s because they had no television
Right.
and they had very little photography, but it was black and white.
Mhm.
And so when they spoke in the 1800s, like I studied a minister named Charles Spurgeon. Was an amazing pastor of the 1800s. And I used to read all of his sermons and notes and literature. And then like the same thing, I like the speeches of Lincoln and all these people. And what made those speeches so beautiful is they were able to, like Brian says, they used the paintbrush of
Yeah.
words, and they would make you feel like you were right there on the battlefield. You were right there where the people were rallying behind some cause. They were able to articulate the words like a doctor with his scalpel,
Right.
just cutting away every little detail, creating every little visual idea of what's happening. So when you were left away from that piece of literature, that letter, and this was average, this was common in the letters of the 1800s. And so watching Michelle do
Mm-hmm.
something that was done in the 1800s,
Yes.
because you saw her literally painting
Yeah.
feelings so that you could feel them. And that's why I say when I say one of the best speeches of my lifetime, I'm using it in comparison to the letters and the speeches of people during the 1800s where they had no movie screens of color. They had none of the things that we have today. And they were able to paint these pictures, that these words were just used to create a reality that you could not, if you were not there to be able to see it, but you felt it and you thought you were there because the words were so powerful and impactful.
Right.
Okay,
This is
changing
exactly what she did.
Changing gears.
Yes.
So this weekend,
praising this now.
this weekend we had a rally here in New York City.
Oh my Lord.
Can I say what the
bleepity bleepity bleep.
What a bleep bleep bleep. I don't curse, but I feel like I should curse for this one. This thing was worth curse words, as in your viewership. If you walked away when you saw the footage, because obviously I didn't waste my time watching it. However, I did look at the clips this morning. Obviously, you know me, I had to be ready and prepared to talk about with you guys.
Absolutely.
And see what you guys thought about it. I mean, from JD Vance to the silly, crazy comedian that got no laughs because his jokes were so horrible. But my thing is how, and this is why I keep telling my Latin brothers and sisters, they don't like you.
They don't.
They don't like you. They are from a reminiscence time. Remember back in the day, Chico and the Man?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, some of us
remember Chico
yes.
and the for those that are older, Chico and the Man, and the stereotypes of Puerto Ricans and the stereotypes of Latin people. That still continues in some circles. And it was on full display last night.
Right.
And it was disgusting. It was, and again, I keep saying it over and over again, Hillary got it right.
She did.
These are deplorable people with deplorable thoughts, with deplorable mindsets. I mean, to talk about Latin people the way they did, talking about calling them, I can't even go, I won't even acknowledge it was just so horrible. And then to call Puerto Rico an island of garbage.
Right.
Those are U.S. citizens.
Those are U.S. citizens.
Those are our
your American brothers and sisters. And call Puerto Rico a island of garbage. And Man, the internet blew up last night. And it's still going. It's still going. I mean, Puerto Rican athletes, Puerto Rican singers, Puerto Rican, they are all in. I think, you know what? Can I say there's been a whole bunch of October surprises? I mean, in any election, any of these, one of these would have taken someone down in their political career. But to have a racist rally.
Yeah.
And what was, and like Mika said on Morning Joe, she said what was even sadder, what made her sad, is to see so many people gathered for it.
Yeah. That goes to what I often, I consistently try to make it plain and make it within touch of all of us, is that the last presidential election was the highest voter turnout to date, and yet that was half of the half of the U.S. population. The numbers are: Biden got nearly 80 million, the other guy got a little over 72 million. So, due to math, that's what, 150, maybe I'll say 160 million voted in the last presidential election. Our population as a country, as of March of this year, was 366 million people. So the people who support that, they could be, or they are, your pharmacist, who I say that because I just got an alert that my prescription's in. Your pharmacist, they could be your librarian. I was at the county clerk's office. I'm going to be a poll worker. I got confirmed for that. I shared with the you guys. Think about, like, it's not so much like these extremists that, like the dude at the at January 6th with the horns or whatever. These are everyday people that they are. All of us are like this within this society.
We interact with them. They are, they are our neighbors. They are the police officers. They are, let's be quite honest about the people that were at that rally. I don't know the numbers. I don't know the stats because I don't have those numbers. But I know New York, and I have friends who are police officers, and I have friends that are married to police officers, and I've been in a relationship with a police officer. So I know what police officers are doing.
Yes.
And a lot of, unfortunately, I just gonna say it, our white, if you're white in the police department in New York City, a lot of them are Trump supporters.
Yeah.
Not all of them, a lot of them. And they're not ashamed. Remember when January 6th happened, a lot of police officers were right in that crowd.
Right. They were right down here. They were right down here.
They were in the crowd. And so these are the people that we trust to support and keep us safe. And these people look at us like they were saying in that rally. I plead with my Latin brothers and sisters. I know my Latin brothers and sisters that I hang out with because I have a lot of Puerto Rican friends. You know, one of my best friends in the world is Puerto Rican. That's my Omar.
Right.
My Omar, my brother, who's one of the pillars in this community. I've been raised around Puerto Ricans all my life. And I've heard this crap all my life when I was with them. And it is so, it's so upsetting that here we are. I remember when I was in high school, we used to hear this stuff. And here we are now, 40, 50 years later, 40 years later, and still hearing this stuff. And to hear it from a stage at Madison Square Garden, where all of these people were gathered. And it's not like, just like Jazzy said, she says, those speeches were vetted.
Of course they were vetted.
It was not like, oh, this guy said this stuff in surprise.
Right, it wasn't a surprise.
On top of that, not one person rebutted and say we don't represent this. They only decided to do that this morning And late last night,
Hours.
After
when
they
they
saw the impact.
hours after the event, when they realized that I think it's 180,000 Puerto Ricans live in Pennsylvania.
I thought
Or it may be
Might be
more than
more
that.
than
over 400,000.
I think it's over 400,000.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
400,000.
And all the ones that live in Florida.
And then there's
So
there's and Puerto Ricans in all of these states that are also toss-up states. And they when Jennifer Lopez and Bad Bunny reached his 45, I didn't even know he had 45 million followers.
Yeah.
Reached his 45 million followers and endorsed Kamala Harris.
You know, I will say
It's stupid. These mega people are just absolutely, and again, I will use no other word than Hillary's words, deplorable. If you are following this man, I don't care who
no
you
matter
are.
who you are.
It doesn't.
You have lost your
Even
soul.
as a black person, your heart.
Black person, Latino, white person, I don't care who you are. And you are following this deplorable person. Deplorable. There is no other word. I thank God for Hillary saying that using that term. I know people say she lost the election because of it.
She didn't lose the election
she lost the election because people didn't show up. That's all. People didn't show up.
And then you have people now. I watched the guy who's counting Louisiana black votes. Is only up to 140 some thousand, and it's over 900,000 of them down there, and only 140 some voted already. You need to get out and vote. Texas is the same way. Texas has black people who don't vote.
Don't vote. No,
I told my husband, he said he's up by 6% in Texas. Well, I don't know who they're talking to, but anyway, I believe that she can win Texas.
She can win.
I think she can win. Black people, the people have to show up, and those Hispanics, when you listen to what those people were saying last night, and then it's just all of it. When I heard we could just go down the list. What? First of all, let's talk about Dr. Phil. First of all, Dr. Phil was a DEI hire.
Oh,
he was a DEI hire.
Yes,
Oprah Winfrey.
If it wasn't for Oprah, he won't.
Tyler Perry in one of his movies.
That's right.
He threw him in there for diversity. He could have gotten a black person to play that same role. So you are that, and then to say that this country was built on hard work. Yeah, the hard work of enslaved people.
Yeah.
On stolen land. We gotta be real about that. So people let you know who they are. And Giuliani talking about the Palestinians, and this is for those people who are out there saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna vote for Kamala. I'm gonna do all these things." Let me tell you, you are only harming the people that you claim to be protecting.
Yes.
And I'm glad to see. I saw a clip where there are a group of Arab people in Dearborn who saying they're voting for Kamala Harris. People mad at them, but they said we vote on because it goes to my point. You cannot accomplish anything with someone you cannot talk to.
There you go.
You can at least have a conversation with her and and voting Democratic senators and House of Representatives in there. You can have a conversation. You will not have a conversation if these people come in there. You won't. He's not going to give a conversation.
Man, I just sat there and said this was, I got all heated. I mean, cause I went to bed about, I think it was about 12 o'clock or maybe 11, because I was editing photos last night. So it was maybe about 11:30, 12 o'clock. And then I saw my feed like blowing up. I was like, what is going on? Bad Bunny. And I just had all these feed. It was going, and I was like, what the heck happened? And you know me, Ron always goes down the rabbit holes. So I start digging and researching and and then this person and that person. And then I started looking at the speeches. And before I know it, I was like, it's 1 o'clock. I'm still stuck up looking at it. I was supposed to go to bed and it's 1 o'clock. Now going on to 1:30. Now it's almost 2 o'clock. But man.
And J-Lo had just made a video though. She had just made the video with Jennifer Lewis. She and Stevie Mack had just made the vote video that Jennifer Lewis put online this past week. before this all happened. And Bad Bunny, I believe it, already said he was supporting Kamala, but he just hadn't done it this way.
Yeah, but he went
and they should
all in, and everyone should. And again,
should.
because not only did, like I said, they didn't just talk about Puerto Rico. He talked about Latins being breeders and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it was nasty. What he said was nasty.
That was disgusting.
That was disgusting.
That was hard.
That was as low life as you could get. And for someone to think that would be a good thing to do at a political rally,
yeah,
it was. You talk about poor taste. That was. I couldn't tell. I could not hear what he said. It was so deplorable.
Yeah. They couldn't air it on national news. What?
They couldn't.
I have to hop off for in a couple of minutes, but two things I wanted to share is that I can't remember where I got this from. Maybe it's an old Southern thing, but like Dr. Tachi said, sadly there are still going to be
Yep, Latinos that are going to support him and say, "Oh, okay, you know what?"
And that leads me to the next thing. That's what did I hear? That's like feeding an alligator, hoping it'll eat you last.
Yes, let me go. Can we go back to Dr. Tachi's statement here?
Yes,
she said here, "Sigh," but this just proves the point.
Yeah.
You're not different. You're just next.
That's like feeding an alligator, hoping that it'll eat you last. Or maybe it won't see that you're there. Sooner or later.
You next.
On that note, when I was coming back home, one of the digital billboard, I couldn't take a picture of it, but hopefully I'll be able to at some point today. It had what caught my eye was blue background, Tim Walz, Kamala Harris over to the right, and it had Michigan Asian Americans for Harris Walz. So that just brings to mind with this latest abhorrent comments. What group has this campaign or this person not offended?
Everyone. They do not care about anyone except white men.
White men.
Is it. They don't care about white women. They don't care about black women. They don't care about black men. They don't care about Puerto Ricans, Spanish, the Latinos. They don't care about Asians. They don't care about anyone else but white men. That's why you saw him on the Rogan show trying to get more white men. He's on all the white men podcasts trying to get white men. But they keep forgetting white men do not vote on the levels that white women vote, black women vote, and even black men. But the thing is, this election, and this is why I really believe I don't, like many of you have said many times, we do not believe the polls because they said some of the polls are skewed, some of the questions are skewed. And you can make a poll say whatever you wanted to say by asking the certain questions.
I've partaken in a couple of polls for this election cycle. I was shocked. Quinnipiac reached out to me.
Oh, someone reached out to you?
Yeah. And recently, last Thursday, I think it was, another pollster. What's the polling? What is the pool? What I mean by that? What is the number for those? If they're asking like 10 people, okay, that's one. And then you, like Ron, I'm just reiterating what you're saying. It's so skewed. If you're asking like
it's skewed
10, if you're asking 10 5-year-olds, do you like chocolate or vanilla and ice cream? And they and like 5 say chocolate, 5 say vanilla, and then you go in, you can ask something else, and then you can make it sound like, well, they actually favor strawberry. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
like the questions that are asked, the pool, and then lastly, what I would encourage people as we're into this final stretch, excuse me,
Yep.
stop looking at the damn polls, because
I
here's
don't look at
why.
them.
We are currently, all of us, we are currently living through, for those of us of a certain age, two historical things we're living through. We've lived through and participated in the election of Barack Obama. We've endured the 4 years of Orange, and now we're living through and witnessing, hopefully, the ascension and the presidency of our first woman president of
Asian,
Black
African American
this
woman.
this cannot this this cycle, in my opinion, just my opinion, you can't compare it to any. That's what frustrates me when they're like the experts are, well, according to in 2020 and then the 2016, there's some markers there that may have similarities, but
There's
there's no
nothing like
reference
this
point.
in history.
No,
There's
it's nothing like this.
reference point.
There's nothing like this.
This is nothing like history. I'm going to now transfer and change
Yeah.
into our Motivation Monday information.
Ron, let me
so that
say
we can be
something real
challenged.
quick
But go
about
ahead,
polls.
Elise.
Sorry,
Can I say something about
Yep.
polls real
got
quick?
a doctor's appointment by phone.
Enjoy, buddy.
All right, you guys.
So when they do polls, and what Brian just said reminded me of how when you testify on Capitol Hill, right? So whenever I went up there to testify, and I was testifying against vouchers in DC,
Mm-hmm.
I was all out of 5 people. I was always the only one who was against vouchers.
Mm.
And even though the vouchers didn't necessarily weren't like they bring someone from Cleveland, but only 1/4 of the people, students in Cleveland receiving vouchers were Black. Everybody on the panel was Black.
Mm.
I was always the only one who was not supporting it. So you can make polls say anything you want to.
Yep, anything you wanted to say. We learned that in stats class. When I
That's
was
what
in college,
statistics will tell you.
we learned how to change polls and statistics based on how you change the verbs in questions. You
Right.
can just change the verb, and then it will be a whole different type of question and you can get it to skew to where you want it to go. Anyway,
Absolutely.
this was a great conversation. Thank you, Elise, for joining me.
You are welcome.
And Mr. B.
We're gonna win. The victory is there.
The victory is out. Remember that songs that we used to sing in church? Victory is mine. Victory is mine.
Look, I told you, I can't pray and worry at the same time.
There
so
you go.
I'm praying and I'm thankful. So I don't worry about anything. I put worry to the side.
There we go.
Don't believe in the Pope.
Well, I'm gonna let you go. And guys, just remember, let's see here. Just want to give you some of my advertising time. Here we go. And if you want to get your stuff advertised on my platform, just reach out to DM me. However, just so you know, I am an event photographer. And if you are looking for an event photographer outside of New York or in New York, if you pay the plane fare, I am there. And but if you are in New York City and your corporation is looking for an event photographer, make sure you give them my name. That will help me as I continue to get new projects and new work. So that way I can also support you guys here on this channel. So just help me and we can do that together. And also, if you are looking to for some photograph your world, some photography lessons, make sure you reach out to me also for that. Virtual Basic Photography 101. And you can reach out to me for that. Also want to make sure we thank our sponsors like Rolling Clouds, Evertimus, and also our Patreon community. If you want to become a Patreon community member, you can just simply go to patreon.com and go to Ron Lewis Photos, and that will give you Patreon information as well. And you can support this platform. Okay, we're going to dive into our Motivation Monday of the week and quote, and then let you guys go because you got work to do. You have work to do. So let's get this going right here. I have it all queued in and we're going to do it real quick. Here we go. And let me get my screen here. Oops. Here we go. And there we go. So let's scroll down. So today, Today, we are talking about how to make a picture. And this is going to be lessons that are going to be applied to your life. But if you're a photographer, this is going to help you as a photographer. If you're a creator, this is going to help you as a creative. Okay, here we go. Motivation Monday. How to make a picture. This is based on the quote from Ansel Adams. You don't take photographs, you make it. I say it again. You don't take photographs, you make it, you create. This quote speaks to the creative process behind photography. It's not just about clicking a button, it's about envisioning and crafting a story. Here's an expansion to inspire your community and in your life, your community, wherever. Here we go. In the world of photography, there's a profound difference between merely snapping a picture and truly creating an image. Ansel Adams reminds us that each photograph is a deliberate act of creativity, an art form that affects the photographer's unique perspective and vision. Here we go. Number one, visualize your shot. Before pressing the shutter, take a moment to see the scenes in your mind's eye. Think about the emotions, the stories, and the essence you want to capture. This mental preparation is where the magic begins. And this is also as you apply that to life. Look at your life, see where you want to go, visualize where you want to go, and then execute. Okay, next one, choose with intention. Every element within the frame plays a role in telling your story. Pay attention to composition, lighting and angles, move around, experiment with different perspectives, and find the one that best conveys your vision. You can also use that in life, right? Look at your surroundings, look at the people around you, look who makes the story for you, how you're going to succeed, how you're going to execute your plan. It's all the people around you that count and that matter. Next, connect emotionally. Great photographers evoke feelings, strike to create images that resonate emotionally with your audience, whether it's a sense of awe, joy, nostalgia, or even melancholy. Make sure you connect emotionally. Connect emotionally with your plans. Connect emotionally with your vision. Yes, it applies. It applies. Here we go to the next one for this week. Edit thoughtfully. Post-process is an extension of your creative process. Use editing tools to enhance your vision, bring out the colors, contrasts, and details that will make your image come alive. I can say, let's play that. We can play that to life as well. We can apply that to life as well this week. Edit your thoughts. Edit your thoughts. Edit how you create. Edit how the people that you surround yourself with that can speak into your life, right? Use the tools around you, whether they be human or they be mechanical. But you have tools in your life to help you along the way in this journey. You can do this. You can make a better life for yourself. Here we go. Next, practice and patience. Mastering photography is a journey. Embrace each step, learn from your experiences, and continually push the boundaries of your creativity. Patience and persistence will ultimately lead to stunning results. Can we get an amen to that? That's life. Life requires what? Practice and patience. Life this week, as you travel through this each day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, execute in your plan. Patience and practice. Keep doing it over and over again. You will get better at it. If you want to be a photographer, keep shooting. The whole key, most old timers in photography will tell you the sound is in unison. Keep shooting. If you want to be a knitter, you want to be a scientist, whatever you want to be in life, you just got to keep doing it over and over and over and over again. Even when you are frustrated and you think it's a waste of time, you have to do it over and over and over again. But most of all, be patient with yourself and be patient with the people around you. So here we are. This week, let's remember that we are not just photographers. We are storytellers, artists, and creators. Every click of the shutter is an opportunity to make something beautiful and meaningful. Let's embrace the process, trust our vision, and create with passion. And with that, happy shooting, everyone. Happy shooting. Happy shooting. Execute your dream this week. Dive into your dream this week. You can do this. There's nothing that can stop you but yourself. But you don't have to stop yourself. Get out there. Do it and do it well. Keep doing it. Don't give up. Do not give up. Be patient with yourself. Okay. There we go. I see Rosemary says, Ansel Adams' works is always so captivating. Yes, we love our Ansel Adams. I see Fifi said, hey, family, sending love to all of y'all. Having a beautiful day. Anthony says, yes, do not wait until you have a gig or a project to pick up your camera. There you go. Mimi says, patience. Aya says, amen, amen. And Rosemary says, the news media still cares about ratings, and so they in stage. Okay, we got past that already. Okay, cool beans. There we are. And then I see the hands of applause. There we go. So guys, we could do it this week. Let's make it happen. Get out and vote. Make sure you get out and vote and check on some of the elderly people in your building or your neighbors. Take them to the voting polls. Make sure you are involved. Make sure we do all we can do to get Kamala Harris across that finish line. Let's do it together. We can do this. Right? Hard work is what? Good work. Hard work is good work. So guys, remember, we live life like we mean it. And at the end of the day, we focus as photographers, as in life, on what matters. And I will see you guys tomorrow.